quick deck tech for the fanciest deck we've played against so far. We're running it today ourselves, and I'm talking about the Umori Sorcery control list that we faced earlier with our Sephiroth build. Now there's loads of stuff over here, so let's just grab a bit of it and put it into some more piles so we can see all of it. So, what do we have right here? Our heart and core of the deck is that we are a full sorcery control deck because we play Umori, one of the few companions still legal that probably nobody of you really knows about. His restriction is that all non-land cards in our deck have to share the same card type. So it's either all artifacts, all creatures. In our case, it's all sorceries. And what are we doing with it? We're basically playing a couple coffers Urborg control deck, running Profane Tutor and Sylvan Scrying to grab our lands. 1 mana interaction form of some discard spell, Dreams of Steel and Oil, to get rid of stuff in the graveyard as well, which is really important right now. Get rid of Blage, get rid of stuff against Soul Cauldron, gets rid of stuff like Steel Cutter, can reduce opponent's Delirium count. Inquisition of Kozilek as an early cheap discard spell that doesn't cost up life, because against stuff like Prowess, that really matters. Bloodchief Sirs, because we can't play Fatal Push, and it can also get rid of Planeswalkers, I guess. New card from Final Fantasy, we have Resentful Revelation. Now, that allows us to look at the top 3 cards of our library, put one of them in our hand and the rest in our graveyard. So that's our card filtering spell, basically our preordain, if you want to call it that. But it also has Flashback for 7 mana, and 7 mana sounds a lot, but when you play Cabal Coffers or Borg, that's actually absolutely manageable. Sylvan Scrying to grab our Strategic Betrayal, a real good one-off target. Opponent exiles the creatures they control and we exile their entire graveyard. It's basically just a way upgraded edict that can handle loads of different situations, and then we'll come into our fancy one-off tutor suit, because we don't only play Profane Tutor to grab silver bullets, we also play Dark Petition, full 4 playset of Dark Petition that allows us to search our library for any card, put it in our hand and then shuffle. And if we have Spell Mastery, a real rare mechanics that almost never comes up, this deck supplies it all the time, but there's only a few cards that actually have this. So if we have 2 or more instant sense of sorcery cards in our graveyard, we also cast Dark Ritual Stapled onto it. So then it's basically just a real demonic tutor, costs 5 mana ahead of the curve, but then also gives us 3 mana back, and that way we are able to grab Mind Sludge as a good discard spell that just empties our opponent's hand because they discard a card for each swamp we control. Torment of Hellfire as one of our main win conditions. Wildest Dreams as a really fun card advantage engine to grab back X cards from our graveyard. Gaze of the Granite, which is a really good board wipe. Titania's Command as a fun card, I guess. I mean, we can grab 2 land cards from our battlefield, put them onto the battlefield tab, exile our opponent's graveyard, gain life for each exile card, or create some token. Counters probably never would come up. Grabbing 2 more Cabal Coffers of this sounds hilarious, and I hope we get to do that to cast an insane Torment of Hellfire. I think this card probably is the worst card in the deck. And we also have Pass of Peril as an early board wipe. Other than that, 2 more board wipes, Damnation and Culling Ritual. Culling Ritual is especially really important against stuff like Goblin Bombardment, against a Soul Cauldron, Birthing Ritual and such. Then we have the main deck. Moving on to our sideboard, there's obviously Umori. Umori also has another line of text, because as it enters, we choose a card type and spells of the chosen card type cost 1 less. So he's also just a ramp for all our sorceries once he gets into play. Then we have For the Rest for Sorceries against combo, most likely against Storm. We have Crime and Punishment as a real flexible interaction spell, because Punishment is a real good removal against Token, against amulets, against targets from Urza's Saga, against cat tokens, against enchantments and such, against Cory Steelcutter or stuff like this. Nightmare Incursion against combo decks that really rely on a single card to really combo off. Shadow's Verdict against creature decks, which is really good. This card is crazy nice. The only problem for this card is that it costs 5 mana, so almost no deck gets to utilize it. But we can stall the game so long that this card hopefully absolutely pops off. Rain of Tears as a single land destruction spell. Honestly, I don't know why the creator of this deck. I'm really excited to try this deck out. Hey everybody, that definitely is a great deck tech. Hope you enjoy the games coming right after. But before that, please don't forget to leave a like, subscribe, and also leave a comment. I want to hear suggestions from you. What decks do you want to see? What formats do you want to see me play? I know one of you guys wants me to play Vintage and Legacy. I won't. I won't for now at least. I still want to explore the new Modern for now, with the new Final Fantasy cards. Hopefully there are some great suggestions you guys have. I'm looking for some more brews, but other than that, I really want to cast more Sephiroth. Well, anyway, on to the first match, and hope you enjoy the video. Match number 1, trying that Umori deck. Let's reveal it and let's confuse our opponent. Oh, to be honest, I have no real idea how this deck actually won against us, but it just looked super sweet, and I think this hand probably is as good as it gets. We have Urborg and Sylvan Scrying to find our couple coffers. We have a Dreams of Steel and Oil for early interaction. We have a Path of Peril to wipe away creatures on turn 3. And we have Titania's Command to potentially cast turn 4 with our Urborg coffers combo. Don't know if we will be able to have enough green mana, but let's keep it. Our Path of Peril looks pretty sweet here, as it will be able to wipe away the creatures our opponent will play turn 1 and turn 2 when we go for the Dreams of Steel and Oil and the Scrying. Opponent plays an Undercity Source and surveils turn 1, keeps the card on top. Could still be lots of different things. Let's start with Urborg and Dreams of Steel and Oil. Next turn our layer of the Hydra will still be untapped. The opponent has no creature in there. Okay, now that's just whole lot of control cards. 2 counter spells, 2 Sink into Stupor, and a Consider. Opponent, please don't tell me. Okay, now I would have cried a little if our opponent kept a Psychic Frog on top. And we draw a second Sylvan Scrying. That's great actually, because it means that even if the first one gets countered, which it probably will, we're able to cast another one the turn after. We're definitely hoping to dodge stuff like Harbinger of the Seas, and I don't quite know if we will be able to deal with it that well. Opponent corrects their polluted delta. They will counterspell right here. Grabs the basic island. Now that's basically just an underground seas because of our Urborg, and they counterspell the Scrying. Yep. Opponent plays a Soporific Springs and shocks it in. That most likely means that they will counterspell a second Scrying. They'll just go for it. Could bait it with a Resentful Revelation. That doesn't sound too bad, because if our opponent doesn't have anything else going on right now, our Revelations right here, getting counterspelled won't really matter to us. As a flashback for later, and I think I want to make sure that the Sylvan Scrying actually resolves. We have Urborg to have enough mana to eventually flashback that. Opponent counterspells that. We play a land, and now our opponent maybe is a little sad. Definitely do hope though, because they maybe just use their counterspells in hopes of us not finding a land drop. Opponent considers a polluted delta into the graveyard. There's a Bloodstained Mire, and they just pass the turn. Or do they? Yeah. Oh, unfortunately skipped through the end step, even though I yielded. Okay. Would have liked to fetch there. I guess it is what it is. Oh, that's some wild dreams. This deck is playing wild cards. Absolutely, cards you would never expect to see in Modern. But that's why it sounds so interesting. Let's hope our Sylvan Scrying might resolve this time. I would also appreciate it if our opponent just used a Sink to Stupor onto it. We can just cast it again. That's what happens. Nice. Now let's fetch. I will shock for the Overgrown Tomb. And now I will fetch for a basic in case our opponent does have Harbinger in the main deck. Let's grab the Scrying and let's grab a couple coffers. So next turn, our infinite mana engine is online. And we're looking pretty decent. Opponent is down to 3 cards. We draw the 4th now. They use the Sink to Stupor for basically nothing. We have the Titania's Command to do Pass the Peril to get rid of creatures. Now we won't be able to cleave it, unfortunately. Opponent plays a Sorceries. Will they get rid of the Titania's Command because they don't know what that card does? Or will they get rid of the Wildest Dreams because it's insufferable card advantage and our opponent won't ever be able to deal with it? Don't really expect them to take the Path of Peril. Yeah, that's the Titania's Command. And they pass the turn. Opponent is apparently playing blue-black without any win conditions. No frogs, no Murktides, not even a Bowmath or anything like that we've seen so far. And our opponent is stuck in our upkeep and we're just sitting here chilling with Umori. What up, big boy? What up? Bloodcheek says, that's a good removal. That's a really good one. What shall we do? Let's just make a couple of mana. Could grab 3 cards from our graveyard with the Wildest Dream. But I think I actually like just grabbing Umori and casting Umori. Might be too early for it because our opponent probably has removal and we have not discarded their hand yet. But we will be able to grab it back with the Wildest Dreams later, otherwise. And if this Umori resolves, the ramp it provides us would be really huge. There's a third. Our deck literally has nothing to play around counter spells. We can't even play Veil of Summer on our sideboard because we have to play all sorceries. Opponent doesn't do anything in that turn. I don't mind. We draw another land. That's a decent chunk more mana. We could just run at our opponent with a layer, but I don't really like that. I think I'll just flashback this Revelation for now and see if we find something useful. Because casting the Wildest Dreams like this, the opponent having 4 mana up, I think there might be counter spell again, and I want to make sure that this one resolves because that's so much card advantage. I'll take a Profane Tutor. Thank you. And we get to suspend it. Hopefully we just wasted our opponent's entire turn, and if it's just a Bowmaster, we don't really care. We are still at 16 life, we have the Path of Peril. I don't really think there's too much fuss to worry about. And to suspense, opponent did literally nothing the entire turn cycle, that's wild. Not even played a single creature. No Bowmasters, no nothing. Now it's not really unlikely that our opponent's entire hand is just removal and they don't have a target for it. We find a Dark Petition, that's a good one. No. Let's use that. And then I'll grab something to make them discard their entire hand. And if this doesn't resolve, we'll just grab it back with the Wildest Dreams next turn to go again. Now we're able to just overload their counter spells in the next 2 turns and make them get rid of everything basically. Actually working really well. I am kind of surprised. Maybe this Valerie guy is onto something. I did not mean to grab that. I just tapped out the window and grabbed that by accident. But that's okay. That's okay. It's not the worst thing. We can just cast it and draw some more cards. Yeah, let's grab the Dreams of Steel and Oil and see what our opponent has got right there. Definitely didn't mean to tap that one. Was just looking over to the side in the OBS to see what the screen is looking like. They have a Subtlety. Now that does nothing against our deck. And that's it. Push spells. Sure. Let's just kill the Subtlety and pass the turn. The good thing is the opponent's hand does literally nothing right now. We can just cast the Profane Tutor here. Opponent would have needed to draw a counter spell, and the spell snap probably won't be able to do anything as well. I kind of wonder why they didn't count the Redemptive Revelation, because it's our only real target we've left. We have already used our Sylvan Scryings for the coffers. I don't actually mind grabbing another another discard spell right here to make 100% sure our Wildest Dreams will resolve. So the question is, which one do we grab? We have Dreams of Steel and Oil, wouldn't do anything. We could grab Acquisition of Kozilek to go for a bigger Wildest Dreams, but I think I'll just grab the Mind Sludge to make sure our opponent gets rid of their entire hand. Draw another land, that's also pretty sweet, so our coffers will provide even more mana. Let's sludge away their hand. Opponent found a second Subtlety. That's totally fine. Make our opponent discard 3 cards. What do we grab back? I think I'll get the Dark Petition again and the Umori. Next turn we can Dark Petition for Torment of Hellfire or just Umori. Opponent has a Consider. They only have 1 counter spell left. They mill a Fatal Push. Is it a Murktide or is it an Oculus? Looks to be a Murktide the way they tap their mana and are still waiting. Yep. So I think Torment of Hellfire should be lethal. Grab a Mortuary. Another Petition, sure. Could also just cast a Damnation first. Will our Torment of Hellfire be lethal? They have to repeat it X times. Will be 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7. 7 times they can sacrifice 2 things, so 5 times it will be lethal. Let's grab our Torment and kill our opponent. Nice! On to sideboarding. Opponent goes through the entire process of the Torment, so now we can go to sideboarding. Now, sideboarding against blue-black control. I think go blank sounds pretty nice. Culling Ritual probably not too great. This Path of Peril also doesn't sound too hot because those only get rid of the Psychic Rocks, but they are really expensive to do that. What else do we have? Sorceries probably is also better than the Dreams of Steel, but they do play the Unearth, so they are probably also playing Oculus, so I think the Dream of Steel now is better. Let's get rid of the Inquisition. One more card. I guess let's keep in the Path of Peril to make sure we always have a removal for the Psychic Frogs. Yeah, doesn't sound too bad. We could also go with the Shadow Verdict to also get rid of Oculus. That probably is better. Yeah, let's do that. Let's run it like this. On to game number 2. Game 2, we reveal our Umori. Hand looks great. We have Dreams of Steel and Coil. To get rid of potential turn 2 Psychic Frog, we have Sylvan Scrying, Profane Tutor to grab our combo. So let's keep and hope our opponent has a creature in hand this time, so our Dreams of Steel and Oil does actually do something. Let's do once before. Opponent goes for turn 1 Undercity Sewers, that's fine. I think also post-board they're pretty likely to have Harving of the Seas, especially with an Unearth variant, so I'll just grab a basic Swamp right away. And let's discard them. That's the Murktide, and other than that, nothing else. I do like that. What do you have on turn 2, opponent? Play a land, did not drop Psychic Frog, I am happy. And they also don't have a counter for our Sylvan Scrying. The question is, do I just cast the Sylvan Scrying right now, or do I first suspend the Profane Tutor? I think I'll first suspend the Profane Tutor, because this turn we won't be able to play a land of the Scrying either way. And maybe we draw either the Urborg or a Coffers next turn. And we could have made sure that the Sylvan Scrying resolves by casting it right now. So far from what our opponent is playing, they don't really seem to have a lot of pressure. And that way we will still be able to resolve one of those 99% of the time, because we can cast both in the same turn. They mill a Psychic Frog to unearth it. And they consider a Subtlety into the graveyard now. Them still having Subtleties in the yard is kind of crazy. They're probably so threat-light that they have to keep it in. But many things should be better than Subtlety against our deck, because there's literally only one Umori as a target. Opponent Sword seizes us, and they grab the Gaze of Granite. This Psychic Frog right here with us not having an answer is kinda annoying. But it is what it is. Opponent plays a Polluted Delta. Let's just grab an Urborg right now. And run it out, so that next turn we're able to grab the Coffers and start our big mana chain. Wanna discard the land to the Psychic Frog. Hit us for 2. Now we're hoping to fade Murktide Regions. Don't cast one right now. We have our Profane Tutor, but Sink into Stupor is really good against Profane Tutor. They probably cast that right here. They don't. That's nice, opponent. Let's grab a Coffers. Let's run out the Coffers, and let's see if we can find anything good with our Revelation. Definitely want to draw a Bloodchief first to get rid of the Frog. We don't, but the Dark Petition also sounds pretty neat. So does Damnation. I think I grab the Dark Petition to next turn be flexible with what we take. We could also just grab the Damnation back with the Wildest Dreams, but I'm not sure if going for a 1 card Wild Dreams is where we want to be at. Let's just buy our Umori and pass the turn. Opponent just wasted another whole turn cycle, not casting any spell, even though they have the Sink Super to counter the Tutor. That's really weird why they didn't do that. Discard another Unearth to that Psychic Frog. Just want them to run out something big right here and tap out, so we can grab back our Damnation and wipe their board. That would be really sweet. They just go conservatively with only the Psychic Frog hit and draw their card. We have another Sylvan Scrying. It's also pretty interesting. We could grab a second Coffers. Let's go for it. Second Coffers right here would go absolutely nuts. Not this turn. But next turn it will be crazy. Let's try for the Dark Petition. Opponent cast the Sink into Stupor on the Dark Petition. Now, I don't mind that. Opponent's Psychic Frog is not a lethal threat yet, and we can definitely just take 1 or 2 more hits for now. And with the 2 Couple Coffers, we are close to infinite mana now. So our Wildest Dreams, Dark Petition stuff will go absolutely insane. Yep, opponent hits us for 4. Now there's only one more hit we can take, because then the Psychic Frog will outgrow us. They play another land, and we draw another Coffers. Okay. Now it's getting nutty. 3 Coffers. That's the point where it gets really disgusting. So let's just go for the first one. Let's try for our Umori. No, let's not try for it now. Let's just activate the second one before, so we don't have to tap our green mana. Run out Umori. Probably gets counterspelled. It doesn't. And now we get to reduce our sorceries. Run out the Dark Petition for only 4 mana. Still at 3. Now, even if all that gets countered, our Wildest Dreams will be able to just refuel us an insane amount. And if they have 2 counterspells, then we're in trouble. Not gonna lie, if they have 2 counterspells, we're in trouble. Oh, they also get to exile that. That's annoying. Our Wildest Dreams gets us 3 cards back. Let's grab a Damnation. Let's grab some Filtering. And a second removal, I'd say. Definitely have to make sure that we get to wipe away the Psychic Frog next turn. So I grab 2 removal spells for it. And they kill our Umori now. Sure. Why they didn't do that earlier, I don't know. Now we will go really low right here. Opponent discards their Watery Grave finally, that we've known of the entire time. We go down to 5, so we have to answer the Psychic Frog right now, but we are so loaded on mana. And we even draw a Bloodchief Surge, so now we can just overload their counter spells. Let's activate the second one immediately again. And let's just cast the Bloodchief Surge. Now we get to filter our cards. Mind Sludge is perfect right here. Make our opponent discard their hand. So now if they run something out, we can still Damnation it. Let's just counterspell. That's okay. Flash back the Revelations. Let's grab a Dark Petition. Run out our Underground Mortuary. So next turn we can potentially cast our Titania's Command. And I think we're in a great position now. Even though our opponent hit us a couple of times with the Psychic Frog. The grinding abilities of this deck is insane. Opponent does double fetch right here. The worst thing would just be a Harbinger, because I did not play the word Catacombs, which I should have done, but our opponent doesn't have Harbinger. Nice! Match 1-1. On to the next. Match number 2. Let's reveal Umori and confuse our opponent. We again have a turn 1 discard spell into a turn 2 Sylvan Scrying, but this time we don't have the other half of our land combo, so I'm not too keen on this hand. We do have a Dark Petition if we manage to survive, but that's a big if. With the Sylvan Scrying, I kind of want to be greedy right now. I will be greedy. I will test the limits of the deck. I think this should probably be a mulligan because we don't have any board interaction. If our opponent plays something like Energy or Prowess, opponent plays the Verdant Catacombs. Is it Yawgmoth, the new hotness with Sephiroth around? It is. So our Dreams of Steel and Oil probably is good, but we also have a Bloodchief Surge. I think you can never go wrong by bolting the bird, so let's do that now. Next turn we can play the Mortuary and Dreams of Steel and Oil. Opponent runs out Malevolent Rumble. What do they hit? They only hit a Forest. That's totally cool. And we find another Bloodchief Surge, so we could potentially de-ramp them again by killing the spawn. We exile the Yawgmoth and we exile the Halfling, so we just made their hand a whole lot worse. They do have the Green Sun Sinnies right here. I think I will just leave them with the spawn so we can kick out the Bloodchief Surge later. Let's mill our land. I don't quite know if our opponent can grab any real threat as a 3-drop right now. They can grab Grist, but Bloodchief Surge can also kill Grist. Maybe I should have gotten rid of it to have one more turn, because we can't kick it immediately. Maybe I should have done that. We do find a second Sylvan Scrying. That's pretty nice actually. Let's grab Urborg. Next turn can kick our Bloodchief Surge. The turn after we are able to Sylvan Scrying for coffers and cast the Dark Petition as well. Opponent hits the Dredger's Inside. We do mill a Walking Ballista. So now if they find a Soul Quadrant, it becomes really dangerous. Opponent grabs a Young Wolf, and they play it right over. So the last card in hand is a Court of Calling, which will be really dangerous actually. We might just be a turn too slow. Could grab the coffers. Opponent has a card in hand, so we won't be able to do anything against that unfortunately. I think the best thing I can do is just get rid of the Grist and hope they don't find the combo next turn. Even though that's pretty likely because they can just court for Yawgmoth and draw a couple of cards by sacrificing the creatures on themselves. Maybe there is a chance. Because if we do survive this turn, Dark Petition into a board wipe will be huge. Opponent courts for 4, grabs Yawgmoth, yep, so they are looking for the last piece. No, I don't actually know that Infinite Life does not really win against us. I think we can actually out-control Infinite Life. I think we'll have to play through that. Because we do have so many board wipes and so many ways of just stalling their creatures, and they are really low on... They are really low on cards, like they are through 10 more cards in their library. I did not find anything. So let's cast the Sylvan Scrying, grab the cover coffers. Dark Petition, 1 mana too little to cast a Culling Ritual right here, or Damnation, which is unfortunate. One just goes to reset the Yawgmoth. If they just sacrifice their entire board right now, I will just grab the Edict that makes them exile their graveyard. And maybe they think that Dark Petition would cast something immediately. I don't have any instant detection, so I can just heal to all of our opponent's stuff. Save some time. Definitely like that, because making them sacrifice the Yawgmoth and exiling their graveyard would just be huge right here. I think our opponent does that. No? Do they? Sacrifice the Yawgmoth one more? No, they don't. Still think that... Where is it? The Strategic Betrayal probably still is the best course of action by exiling their entire grave. I think that's the best thing I can do. Make them discard something first. Get rid of the second Yawgmoth. Get rid of the Grist. Now let's make them exile their grave. We're still in a lot of trouble, but opponent is 2 Yawgmoths down, so they are not gonna combo us that easily. Even though they do have a Court of Calling right there. Their graveyard is emptied, so Cauldron also won't do too much. The Boussejo or coffers, that's really annoying. Grab a second Surveil. Profane Tutor is just too slow, I think. Hope that our Revelation will find us something next turn, because they will be able to go wide again with the Bowmaster and the Wall of Roots. Find a Malevolent Rumble. They grab a second Yawgmoth, play the Wall of Roots, and only attack us for 2. That's not a lot of pressure. Now they're on other Bowmasters. Yep. Second Revelations. Let's look for coffers first. Maybe just a board wipe. Wouldn't mind just hitting a Damnation right here. We find a second coffers. That's also sweet. So let's look for something good. That's unfortunately nothing. We get to exile a second Yawgmoth, I guess, but we will just take a big hit next turn. Let's grab all. And hope we don't die. Opponent does have the Court of Calling, so they are definitely able to do some shenanigans. They can court for 2 right now if they want to. They could also court for 1 to find a Yawgmoth. Maybe they will grab something like a Blood Artist. Worst case, they play Sephiroth. They grab that next turn, because then a board wipe would be able to flip Sephiroth. They do cast a court for 2. What do you have, opponent? It's just the Yawgmoth. Yeah, so they're just going to try to hit the combo, trying to draw more cards. Opponent sacrifices a Wall of Roots without putting a counter on the Yawgmoth. That's interesting. That looks like a mistake. And they proliferate. Are they trying to go for lethal right now? I mean, that's a decent hit, but it's nowhere close to lethal. Yeah, we go to 6. Definitely hoping that we will be able to find a board wipe. Sacrifices the Bowmaster. Now puts a counter on the Yawgmoth. Draws another land. Opponent is also already down to 20 cards in their library. That's nuts. The way they go through their entire library with the Yawgmoth and the Malevolent Rumbles. Sacrifice the Yawgmoth. Sacrifice the entire board now. They are looking to close out the game immediately. Second Treacherous Insight. They do find a Soul Cauldron, but they don't really have any good targets in the grave. But they still grab the Cauldron. Now, if we find a board wipe, they will be able to put Yawgmoth on everything. There's a Walking Ballista, so that's infinite life. It's also infinite damage because they can sacrifice the Yawgmoth to the Orc. So we are just dead. Okay, on to sideboarding. Milling that Ballista. Brutal. Game number 2. What do we want to bring in? Definitely Shadow's Verdict. That looks incredible. Maybe go blank. Don't really hate it. Getting rid of The graveyard sounds really important, and definitely also the crime and punishment. Don't really think I want to bring in the Nightmare Incursion. That card just sounds too expensive. What do we get rid of? I think the Torment of Hellfire might be too expensive for win condition. 2 more cards that we need to cut. Should do like most of the things we have going on. Maybe the Goblank is too cute. I think I'll shave on the discard spells actually. I think they will be able to deploy to the board so reliably that our discard spells won't do too much. Even though the first Dreams of Steel was really good, I think having more board webs is just more important. So let's go to game number 2. Now we have Damnation, we have 2 Profane Tutor. I will keep this. Also nothing too great, but double Profane Tutor will provide us with basically anything we want, and we do have a Damnation ready to fire ASAP. I think that probably should be fine. And a Dark Petition to go after the Damnation. Halfling turn 1 is probably the worst case for us, unless we find a removal, but even if, I still do want to suspend this Profane Tutor. It's pretty annoying. We find a couple coffers just like that. That's great. We get to combo off. Let's just grab a basic, preserve life total a little bit, suspend the tutor, and pass the turn. Next turn, run out the couple coffers, even though it doesn't generate any mana yet. But the turn after, our tutor will resolve and grab us Urborg. We're still able to cast our 2 drops. Opponent has a Sorceries, they will probably get rid of our Dark Petition or of our Damnation, I'd assume. The best card we have in our library left is the Shadow's Verdict. So I hope they'll just leave us with a second Profane Tutor so we can suspend that. The Shadow Verdict being able to wipe away everything, getting rid of their graveyard so their Soul Corrin doesn't anything, and getting rid of all creatures they have except for Yawgmoth himself is just incredible. Opponent grabs the Dark Petition, and they have a Soul Cauldron already. Okay, that's annoying. Just hoping that they won't be able to combo off too fast. Let's suspend the tutor, and let's pass the turn. Soul Cauldron makes me kind of want to just grab a Culling Ritual with the first, but our Lair of the Hydra has no land, so we won't be, has no swamp, so we won't be able to cast it. We draw Swamp, but we have to cast it in upkeep. That's annoying. But Grist, still no targets for the Cauldron. The Shadow Verdict will be insane, actually. Let's cast the tutor. I think we just have to grab our Urborg right here. Not really too much else we can grab, because our coffers doesn't generate mana otherwise. Blank also doesn't sound too bad actually, because our opponent is down 2 cards. Kind of want to grab the Culling Ritual to get rid of the Cauldron and to grab Shadow's Verdict the turn after, but we need to draw Swamp to do that. If we draw Swamp, the Culling Ritual is so good. I think I have to be safe. I have to grab the Urborg. We draw Bloodchief Surge, that's also pretty good. I think I'll just dig for now. Second Revelation, let's look a little deeper. Inquisition, that sounds like something I want to cast right now. Let's look at your hand, opponent. Happy to grab the Endurance. Next turn, our opponent does have Yawgmoth. We'll be able to Shadow's Verdict everything away and Bloodchief Surge the Yawgmoth after. I'm not quite sure. I think I still have to use the Shadow Verdict earlier, because I still have the Cauldron. This Cauldron is so annoying. Cauldron is so annoying. Do we have enough mana for the Gaze of the Hydra? And not Hydra, Gaze of the thingy. We'll see it right now. Opponent does not play Yawgmoth with a halfling. I love it! That makes Shadow's Verdict a lot better. We're great Gate of Granite, that's it. Now we play a land. That comes in tapped, unfortunately. That's 5 mana, 6 mana, so we'll be able to destroy all non-impermanents that's got 3 or less. Also be really good. Also would get rid of the Cauldron. I think the Gate of Granite probably is better then. Yeah, let's grab that, because it also gets rid of the Cauldron. Getting rid of Cauldron and Grist right here is pretty nice. But their graveyard still is filled. Now we get to handle the Cauldron, so getting rid of the Yawgmoth next turn is a lot better that way. Opponent's down to 2 cards. That's Bowmaster? Yeah. And the other one is a Yawgmoth. Once they just play Yawgmoth, we will just go for Damnation. If they don't play Yawgmoth right here, we're still fine. That's just the Yawgmoth. That's kind of annoying. Actually, kind of makes me want to use my removal on that, so the Yawgmoth doesn't generate value. That's a good hit. That means that Damnation into Strategic Betrayal gets rid of their graveyard and of the Young Wolf. That's a great hit. Graveyard is clear, opponent is down to only the Yawgmoth and they don't even have the mana to cast it right now. I think we've successfully slowed them down so much that they won't be able to come back. But in Germany you say, du sollst den Tag nicht vor dem Abend loben. So maybe our opponent will be able to come back. Let's activate the coffers, let's activate the second coffers, and let's look for something with our revelations. Hopefully discard spells that get rid of the Yawgmoths. That's not it. Mind Sludge probably not too good. Maybe it is okay. Nah, don't think so. Let's just grab Umori. If our opponent casts Yawgmoth next turn, that's okay. They get to Blood Sheathed and discard some the last card they draw off of it by sacrificing the Halfling. Yep, that's just the Yawgmoth. Mind Sludge probably just would never do enough. So let's make some mana. Let's kill the Yawgmoth. Opponent does not sacrifice their Halfling, so probably the last card is the second Yawgmoth. Let's just run it Umori. Sorcery, we'll just see what it is. I want to have a look. Yep, it's the second Yawgmoth. And we still get to flash back our revelation because Umori makes it cheaper. That's nice. What do we find? Dreams of Steel and Oil. Order. Had I first cast the Resentful Revelation, I would have been able to get rid of both the Yawgmoths. I think I'll still grab it. Oh, maybe I should have grabbed the Serpent's Crying, so our layer of the Hydra would just be lethal next turn. That would have possibly been better. Still makes it pretty safe. I think our opponent still has to just jump away the Yawgmoth on the layer, because we can still just make it so huge. Yeah, opponent has to jump away the Yawgmoth. That's a big layer. They don't have to jump away the Yawgmoth. They can bring the Umori with the Delighted Halfling and block the Umori then, which they do, but they are still down to 2 life right now. I hope the misplay of not grabbing the Dreams of Steel and Oil earlier comes to bite us, because our opponent is down to 2 life and they don't have a Dredger's Insight in play. They won't even be able to activate the Yawgmoth a lot. If we just deal 1 more damage to them, they won't be able to activate Yawgmoth at all. Right, another land, make a shit ton of mana. Let's see what you've got, opponent. Endurance, kind of annoying, that's another blocker. We luckily get to exile this Walking Ballista. Appreciate that. Let's just make a big ass land again and hit our opponent. No real need to attack with Umori. Opponent can just jump it. And wouldn't even trade with anything. Get rid of the endurance, and if our opponent activates the Yawgmoth right here, I think that might even be bad for them, because it means they can't even combo with the Dredger's Insight. Probably doesn't really matter, to be honest. Second Dreams, they have a Takenuma. Okay, let's get rid of that Delighted Halfling. Let's see what you've got, opponent. Opponent just drew another land. They can activate the Takenuma to maybe find Bowmaster. Find a Reclamation Sage. Can't even cast that. Nice. Don't know why they have Reclamation Sage against us. We literally have Umori that we only play Sorceries. Anyway, on to game number 3. I think being only on 3 discard spells is fine. I do prefer the removal, so let's run it back. Game number 3 against Yawgmoth. Reveal our Umori. Hey buddy, how you doing? And we do have a culling ritual in hand. Do kind of like that. I think I'll keep it just based on the culling ritual, hoping to carry its weight. Just being able to get rid of the cauldron and the small stuff while still making us mana to cast something like a Go Blank or so afterwards is just nice. They don't have a Halfling. That's important for us. No Halfling is really huge. Let's just play the tapped Overgrown Tomb. Next turn we can play Urborg, Servant's Crying for coffers, and we are golden, I hope. Because with them not being able to ramp turn 1, there is a Halfling, we're in a good position. They don't even have another land. Oh, opponent. That will not come back to bite you. Keeping a 1-lander with no turn 1 mana draw, that's crazy. There's a Dredger's Insight, and they do find a Fulminator Mage. Now that's a good card against us, not gonna lie. And they grab the Fulminator. Oh, this punishment looks mighty delightful. Just getting rid of these two so they don't get to cast their group next turn. Sounds pretty sweet. Let's go for it. Executes 1. Even though we only kill the Delighted Halfling for 3 mana, I think that's absolutely worth it, because them being able to cast the Fulminator Mage would be horrible for us. And they do draw land, so they won't be able to cast it. Opponent has a Sorceries. That's really annoying. Would have liked to cast Ritual into Go Blank. Luckily enough, they won't be able to hurt us too much. They do take Culling Ritual, but this Go Blank with the Inquisition probably still is pretty good next turn, I'd assume. Opponent runs out a second halfling, so Inquisition Go Blank will just empty their entire hand. I do like that. Or just a Mind Sludge, but I will definitely go for the other two. They also exile their graveyard. Let's grab the Fulminator, and let's make our opponent discard the rest and exile their graveyard. Should have played the Lair instead of the Swamp. I miscounted my mana. It was just bad math at my side, so we would have had the Lair next turn ready. So I would have needed the one untapped mana. Forgot that the coffer's already mana positive because of the Urborg. Opponent just find the third land, and they just hit us for 3. Now we can just buy our Umori, and we even find a removal. Nice. Let's grab Umori, and I think I just remove the halfling so they won't be able to cast Yawgmoth. Definitely have to prevent the nastiest top deck that they could have, because them top decking Yawgmoth right here would have been really bad. One keeps their card on top. I'm really interested to know what that might be. It's a Rumble. Okay, so is there... What do they find? They grab the Soul Cauldron. That's a good hit. That's a really good hit. Oh, that's infinite life, because they can kill the Young Wolf by pinging itself. Opponent is through way more cards, and we do have the tools to just stabilize. Also just told our opponents that we just won't attack them. No need to be annoying with stuff like this. Let's suspend our Profane Tutor and run out Umori, because we are not lost against infinite life. Even though it might be annoying to play through this, because we don't have a real win condition right now. Infinite life is not a real win condition. You have to remind yourself that. Usually you just scoop it up, because realistically speaking there's no way out. But with our deck being such a hard control deck, I think it's actually worth just grinding through it. Opponent does get to ping us once with the Young Wolf right here, because we take the block. And they will always be able to do that, because they just get the Young Wolf back, and they have the Cauldron right there to ping us once more then. Every block does 1 damage to us. Opponent did not cast their card in hand, so it might be a Yawgmoth. Would be bad for us. That's a Yawgmoth, we're in trouble. Then we are just dead. Yawgmoth can only sacrifice other creatures, so even if we discard Yawgmoth to the Cauldron, they won't be able to combo us unless they have another creature. I think I just have to Mind Sludge them here to see what they have. Because the only way for us to not just use them is, even if they draw land, they can cast Yawgmoth and combo us. It was just a land. Okay, that's good for us. We will take some more damage if they just Cauldron away a creature right now to buff their Young Wolf once more. But I think we're not dead yet. The Young Wolf will shoot us for 2 and then another 3. Another 1. That's the Yawgmoth. That's Lisa. Ah, sad. That was really close. That was really close. On to the next match. Match number 3. We lost another die roll. That's kind of sad. I want Umori to win die rolls. And now we have early interaction. Wow. Actually do play some. Oh, that's a keep. We also have a Sylvan Scrying to grab one of the half of our land combo. Maybe we will draw the other, naturally. Bloodchief Thirst into Dreams of Steel and Oil, and Bloodchief Thirst is pretty good against a lot of decks right now. So let's see what our opponent plays. There's another Missiles, probably Energy, I'd assume, maybe Prowess. They grab a basic mount, so it's probably Prowess. There's a Dragon's Rage Channeler. I will go for the Dreams right now, in case they have a Steel Cutter in hand. They don't, but we definitely have to get rid of the Slick Shot. Biggest problem of our deck: no instant speed interaction. If our opponent gets to play a Slick Shot, we can't stop them from comboing off and just killing us. Getting rid of that with the Dreams right here. Muy grande. Best thing we can do. Play a Bauble, keep their card on top, look at our library, and they play Scouting Card. Wrong fetch, opponent. Now we know your hand. So what do you draw? Let's have a look. Now it was a Steel Cutter. Perfect discard, get rid of the Bauble to exile a bit of their grave, and let's kill this DRC. Sweet! Opponent is left with a completely useless hand for now. Mutagenic Growth and 2 lands. They mill Lava Dart, that's only Prowess trigger against us. They draw Preordain, so they might be able to find something. Worst case scenario, they find something good. That's nothing too impressive. We can just kill that with our second Bloodchief Thirst. I love it actually. Draw another Inquisition. Let's strip them of their resources a little more. Let's get rid of the DRC. Our opponent is down to one measly basic mountain in hand. And we don't have anything going on as well. There's this broken mechanic in Magic the Gathering, where pretty much every part of the mechanics that was competitively viable has been banned. We have this guy. This guy. We have another card in hand. Our opponent does not. We also only have one Surveillance that appears, play the mountain, and nothing else. I love it! Don't want to draw any normal lands. Let's just grab Umori while we can, play the Marsh Bats, pass a turn, and just grab a second Underground Mortuary next turn, cast our Umori into the Sylvan Scrying. Umori also not too easy for them to remove unless they have Unholy, but I don't think they have that main deck. Oh, please no Steel Cutter, opponent, please don't do it. Please no Steel Cutter, come on, you don't want to. Opponent gets rid of a Slickshot Shore. That's fine with them having so little cards and us still at a healthy life total. If we were at a lower life total, I would be absolutely freaking out. We find a Coffers. That's nice, that's nice. If we were at a lower life total, I would be absolutely panicking. But we are at a healthy life total and our opponent is at only one card in hand right now. They do have the Lava Dart for an additional trigger. But if they don't draw the craziest buff spells imaginable, we might be fine. We definitely have to draw something. Coffers was a sweet draw. Because we did have the Sylvan Scrying and now we have a combo, but it was by far no good draw. Definitely want to draw some action. Opponent runs out the Slick Shot and attacks us for one. Do they start comboing off on it? Or do they just deal the 1 damage? They sacrifice the Lava Dart, sacrifice a mountain for the Lava Dart, and that's it. Okay. So we only draw a Dream of Steel and Oil. The opponent has 2 cards in hand. Okay. So they have nothing going on. And our Umori actually is a pretty decent clock, hitting our opponent for 4 each turn. Opponent plays the Lava Dart. That's a lot of damage. That's 2 Slick Shot triggers. That's basically 2 Lightning Bolts right there. That actually is pretty dangerous. We're down to 6 life. Now there's a handful of lethal draws for our opponent. Lightning Bolt, Lava Dart, iteration into something. Fortunately, no removal for now. Just to hit our opponent. And if they don't draw something right here, right now, we will be able to kill them with a Torment of Hellfire. Test takes a hit. Opponent has nothing. Sweet! They don't even play the land, which is interesting. Oh, right, I just suspended that. But that's a great top deck. Gets rid of the Slick Shot exits their grave. Hits them for another 4. That's still a thriller. There's still things that can kill us. I'm also really wondering what their last card in hand is that they didn't play last turn. Maybe just another land? Oh, that looks like an iteration. That's the beginning of disaster. But they have to kill us this turn. They do find a Swift Spear. Please no bold, opponent. Okay. Just had a slight heart attack right there. Sideboarding against Prowess. Now, what's too slow? What's too cute? Torment might be a necessary win condition. Don't really know. I think I like Go Blank a bit more than Resentful Revelation. Don't think Mind Sludge is where I want to be in this matchup. That's just too slow. Grab a punishment for that. Don't really know if I want Shadow's Verdict against them. I think the 5 mana is just too much. And it doesn't get rid of Steel Cutter. I think I'll stay away from that. I think I'll just stay with Culling Ritual and the punishment to get rid of those. Yeah, let's run it like this. Let's see where it takes us. Number 2, showing our opponent our little loose friend. Unfortunately, that's unkeepable. Definitely have some mulligan this, no remana. This looks okay. Let's keep it and put a Dark Petition on the bottom. We do have Urborg and the Sylvan Scrying. We'll be able to combo, and we have an Inquisition to stop some shenanigans our opponent might be up to. Definitely wish that we can discard a Steel Cutter, please. No. We'll get rid of the Violent Urge because we can't interact with it. I think I have to. Violent Urge is probably the scariest thing our opponent can put on creatures they control because we have no instant interaction. Then just going off and Violent Urging something is... I think Violent Urge is basically the most potent burn spell in this matchup. Could have also gotten rid of the Preordain so they don't get to filter. I don't really have any more action going on. Not quite sure if I will go for the Strategic Betrayal or the Sylvan Scrying right here. I think I go for the Betrayal, just to make sure we won't die anytime soon. It gets rid of the Swift Spear, it gets rid of their graveyard, takes away 3 types. Opponent puts both cards on top of their library. That's scary. I think I'll go for the prayer right here. Is it better to just go for the Civil Scrying? If you go for the Scrying now, next time you won't be ramping that much either though. Let's just use the opportunity to get rid of the Swift Spear and place their mountain. We have a Lava Dot in the hand. That's a splendid Slick Shot. That's scary, especially with the second Preordain being able to set them up, and they do have the Lava Dot, so there's at the very least 8 damage coming our way next turn. At the very least. Let's play our Scry, run out the coffers, and hope next turn we draw a land and find something good with our Revelation. If we draw land, we could also go for Dark Petition into something. Steel Cutter. That's a lot of damage. That's a lot of damage. Hopefully no mutagenic growth on top of that. And a Bauble. Bauble plus the Lava Dot right here. So we are definitely taking a big hit if we even manage to survive. I'm not sure if we survive this. There's a world where we die. Cast the Lava Dot. This Lava Dot basically does 4 damage twice. I think we're exactly dead, yeah. Oh no, we go to 1. We go to 1. We're not exactly dead. We go to 1. Okay, we're still alive. We are still alive. Let's just draw land. Painless, untapped land. Please, please, basic swamp. That's unfortunately does nothing. Dark Petition for Culling Ritual here would have been so sweet. Oh, there's nothing we can find right here. Sorry. Sad. Sideboard for the game number 3. I still think I like the way we bought. I think Sorceries hurts ourselves. Don't really like that. And Duress does not hit their Slick Shots and stuff. Don't think we want to overboard on that. And I think we want to maximize the answers to the Steel Cutter. So let's run it back. I want to go first. Yes, absolutely. Present my Umori. And we have discard spells, coffers, and Profane Tutor. And the Blushy says this looks pretty good actually. Let's go. And also mulligans. That makes our discard spells a whole lot better. Especially because often they mulligan for Slick Shot or Steel Cutter probably. They only have one of those. Our Inquisition looks mighty evil right now. Opponent is on 1 land. Now I could be cheeky and grab the Bauble. But I think I'll just be conservative, grab the Slick Shot, make sure we don't just die. Especially with our opponent's 1 creature only being a DRC right here. This Clutching Source is pretty sweet. DRC is by far the worst threat they have against us, because it does not even get a hit in. A millisecond spell pierce. They are 100% looking for lands. Second Bauble. Okay. Opponent keeps something on top. We know there is a land. Builds an Expressive Iteration. It will draw 2 cards. Also Delirious with the 4 cards. That's impressive actually. Turn 1 Delirium with actually 4 cards, 4 types. We find another Inquisition. I think I keep that actually. Just get rid of the DRC, because next turn we get to discard and suspend our Profane Tutor. In the turn after we can Culling Ritual. Do like the sound of that. Even if our opponent draws... that's just a Swift Spear. Even if our opponent had drawn what's its face, a Steel Cutter, we would have still been fine because we drew the Culling Ritual. Fat Shocks in their end of turn. That's interesting. Let's make you discard 2 Lightning Bolts and a Spell Pierce. I think I get rid of one of the bolts to preserve my life total a little. Do I get rid of the Spell Pierce? I think I'm kind of scared. And if I suspend the Profane Tutor, they won't be able to Spell Pierce anything right now. We get to overload them eventually. Spell Pierce won't be of any value in a really short while with our cover coffers. I think I'll do it like this. I think a lot in this matchup is probably just us trying to preserve our life total as much as possible. I drew a Preordain, that's a good draw. But they did just use their blue mana. I'm wondering if I would just use a Culling Ritual on the 1 Swift Spear right now. Don't really know. I was wondering why they didn't just bolt us, because our face is the only target they have for the bolts. One puts both cards on the bottom with a Preordain. Could have drawn pretty much anything. If they don't play land, they did not draw land. Just hits us for 2. And they do use the bolt. No, they use a Violent Urge. Okay, that's also good. That's basically bold. That's a nice draw. That's a really nice draw. Let's just use a Bloodchief Search, so we have our Culling Ritual in case they draw Steel Cutter. We have Bolt and Spell Pierce in hand. Just cast our Tutor. Is there anything else I want to grab except for just my combo land? Could just grab a discard spell to make them use their hand. We don't have anything going on in our hand right now. Only at 4 mana. I think I'll actually just grab the Goblin to make them use their cards now. Do I? Yeah, still at 17. That's tough. That's tough actually. Let's grab the Urborg. So we can just run out our Umori. Because if we had gone for a Goblin, opponent could have either just Spell Pierced it or used the Bolt. It could have grabbed Inquisition, but grabbing Inquisition of Rage sounds so low impact. One passes a turn, so no threat. Second Sylvan Scrying, that sounds good. That sounds really good. I think I might grab a Lair of the Hydra right now to hit our opponent dead instead of a couple coffers. I'll stay back with the Umori. In case the creature was a Swift Sphere. Opponent just finds a Sundering Falls. I don't mind that. And then mill a Lightning Bolt. We just get to hit them hard. And we find Inquisition as well. That's great. That's good protection for us. Let's make them discard. Make them basically just use their burn spells right now. Makes any future threat they have so much worse. I will just pay the 2. So our layer will not hit as hard. If our opponent empties their hand right now, I don't really think I have to worry about anything. Just the land. Now I will go for the hit, because we know our opponent does not have the way to draw a creature and have a bolt as well. Now if they draw Expressive Iteration and find an insane, like absolutely insane combination of cards with that, but they don't, I think our Lair of the Hydra just finishes the deal. Hit our opponent for 11. Umori wins. Nice! On to the next match. Match number 4. We want a die roll. Umori gets to go first. Let's fucking go. What do we have? We have discard, we have Sylvan Scrying, we have our Titania's Command, and a Bloodchief Search. This looks like a keep in my book. Now, drawing one of our lands, just top decking Urborg would be insane. It would mean that I should have played the Verdant Catacombs actually. Opponent is playing Samwise, and they are on a 1-lander. I think I'll get rid of the Birthing Ritual because there's trouble interacting with it, or do I get rid of the Sephiroth? Or just the Samwise because it's a common piece. Definitely not the Hammermind, definitely not the Cauldron. Birthing Ritual allows all the other stuff to get bigger. You can't interact with it as well. I'll get rid of the Birthing Ritual. If they manage to draw 2 lands back to back to cast the Sephiroth, okay, good one opponent. But if they just don't draw, even if they only draw 1 land, just the Samwise with the Cauldron Familiars, not too dangerous. Draw Urborg, just like we drew it up. Now definitely punished for not running this out first. I will grab a Forest for Silver Scrying, grab a Coffers. No combo next turn, but we're still on a good road. Did our opponent miss a land drop? They did! So, yeah, people don't keep the one. Draw second Swamp. Let's just grab Umori. The next turn we have Dark Petition to start ruining their day. Even if they run out Samwise, Dark Petition into power. They don't. No land. Oh, there is land, but no lands that cast Samwise. Wall of Brutes, okay. So, Path of Peril. Dark Petition, where's the Path of Peril? There it is. And let's cast it. Good luck, opponent, have fun. Opponent down to 3 cards, Samwise, Sephiroth, and 2 unknowns. We have Strategic Betrayal, Umori at the commands. Still no white source for our opponent. Let's run out our Umori, and let's see what our opponent's got. Reduce our sorceries. What do you have, opponent? They drew a Court of Calling. Oh, that's a good draw, but I'll just get rid of some of your things if you don't mind. And I will also make you get rid of your Young Wolf and your Graveyard. Hope you don't mind, opponent. Your turn. Samwise Court, no white source, no third land, can't cast any card in the hand for now. And they draw a Birthing Ritual. They can cast that. That, in all the lines of text that Titania's Command has, there is no way for it to interact with Birthing Ritual, unfortunately. Now I will just suspend this Profane Tutor, hit our opponent for 4. I just want to draw a green source, so we get to cast Titania's Command for 2 more Cabal Coffers and go for the biggest Torment of Hellfire anyone has ever cast today. I definitely won't be the biggest Torment of Hellfire of all time, but it will probably be the biggest one today in the city I live in. Right, there's a Winds for Peace. Opponent can cast one of these things. Could be a card for a Dryad, could just be a Sum. They do fetch, so it's probably the Samwise. Yep. Only Samwise with a ritual does not really do too much. That would need to be the most insane 3-drop of all time. Because we do just have the Bloodchief Thirst, but and they don't even sacrifice the Samwise. Probably a wise decision, but that one was just plain bad. Let's grab a land. I think I just go for a second coffers right now, because next time we can grab our Torment. Here's a Samwise. And let's hit our opponent for another 4. Oh, maybe there's a universe where our opponent gets to draw out of this. But I doubt it. Apprentice is probably one of the best starts they can have with a Birthing Ritual right here. It would need to be an insane hit of this ritual. They get rid of their servo. And they find a third Cauldron Familiar. We do take some damage, but nothing spectacular. And we just cast our Profane Tutor. And grab a Torment of Hellfire. Torment of Hellfire, X equals 11. What do you think about that point? You have 11 life, X equals 11. Sounds fair, I think. On the sideboarding. Sideboarding against Samwise. Shadow's Verdict sounds absolutely nice. Punishment, again, also sounds really good. What do we get rid of? I think Mind Sludge probably is too slow again, because they don't even draw cards. Like Yawgmoth draws cards, so Mind Sludge does something, but their combo does not draw them the cards. Goblin maybe is also okay. Oh, this Path of Peril was insane. In Wildest Dreams might be too slow to cut it, and the Titania's Command. I think here we still have our win conditions and our board wipes, so let's run it back. Game number 2 against Samwise. All oozing over our opponent. Fortunately, our hand is a mulligan, even though we have the Path of Peril right here. And that's a no-lander. That's another mulligan. Our first mulligan to 5. We have discard, removal, and some filtering. So let's keep it like this. And let's hope we're able to go somewhere. Opponent has no turn 1 play. I actually appreciate that opponent. That gives us some time to just grab another Yawgmoth Cherry. Drawing the Cover Coffers here is also pretty sweet, because if we manage to find a Sylvan's Crying or something like that, it means we get a combo. Don't grab the Lush Portico, it's also fine. They keep their card on top. Now I'm kind of in danger, I think. Maybe. Mulligan solo does hurt. They have a Voice of Victory. That's a good card, but it dies to Bloodchief Thirst. And to be fair, us not being able to cast spells in their turn literally does nothing. Let's get rid of our Swamp, draw a Dream of Steel and Oil. I love it. We can discard and Bloodchief Thirst. Get rid of a second Voice of Victory. Kill this Voice of Victory. Opa. Black mana, and pass the turn. Birthing Ritual, once again, really annoying. Really annoying. Yep. Urban Catacombs. Do they also have a 1-drop? That would suck. Ah, they just have the Dryad over to find a 1-drop. That's fair. That's fair. That means our opponent is working to hit a 1-drop, and they don't even like that 1-drop. Great. Unfortunately, no mana to cast the Goblink. Let's just cast our Revelation. Gaze of Granite sounds sick. Do need lots more mana to cast it efficiently. Actually, not too much more. Play or lay because it's a tap land. X equals 2 is already absolutely decent. Opponent has a Dryad over, which would not die to the Gaze of Granite. Second Birthing Ritual is bad for us, unless we find the mana. Third Birthing Ritual, that's Tron over there. What the fuck is going on? Now we have to find the mana to cast the Gaze. If we don't just die right here, like, with so many Birthing Rituals, there is a world where they hit all the fitting combo pieces. Familiar into Marionette Apprentice. Please don't. That's just a goose. Okay, that's just a goose. That's just some token. But that's still. These 3 Birthing Rituals mean that we are likely gonna die next turn if we don't answer the board now. Also, the Court of Calling. We will be able to get rid of the Court of Calling. It has a second goose, so they will also be able to get back. Familiar. Unfortunately, it doesn't tap for mana. Oh, that's rough. Maybe they don't activate that for me. At the very least, we get rid of the Court of Calling. They actually don't. They actually don't. What? They actually don't. Okay. They need to find the entire combo. But they do have 2 creatures and 3 Birthing Rituals. So they can just hit their entire combo of this. Do they play another Dryad? They're just fixing in the top of the library. Get rid of a land. I think they should have probably just kept that up, looking for one more card with only the first Birthing Ritual. Doesn't sound too exciting, but who am I to judge? Now, if we draw Urbok right now, we're in business. Or just a swamp, an untapped one would actually also be fine, because that would also allow us to pass Gaze of Granite X for 2. Don't draw land, we're in trouble. There's a 7 Safekeeper, doesn't do anything. Doesn't do anything right here. And they are down to the last Birthing Ritual. And if we manage to cast this Gaze of Granite, they have nothing left. Is this deck actually the truth? Our opponent, our Yawgmoth opponent, was also really lucky to top deck that Yawgmoth to kill us. And to top deck the Stretcher's Insight with the Walking Ballista to combo. Do find the card from here, but they don't have a sack outlet. They are not killing us right here. We just draw a removal spell. It's no mana. Definitely have to get rid of the Samwise though. They are down to 1 creature, so the Birthing Rituals are not the best. To be positive. Doesn't do anything. I just tap them for F6 value. Okay, let's pass the turn. Oh no. I will actually undo all of this, because we could still keep our layer up as a blocker. Oh no, we can't. X would be 0. Never mind. That was just a waste of time. But I won't cut it up, because I have my automated cutting system. Opponent has a Horizon Canopy. Please don't hit a creature. Oh, is it a Samwise? It's a Samwise. They're just looking for the sack outlet, and if they find it, we're dead. They don't even bother attacking us because of it. There's 3 Birthing Rituals looking for a sack outlet. They will find one. That's only Goose. I'll be right back. Okay, this was Japan. Here she is, lying on the screen. Opponent used the second Birthing Ritual. That's an Apprentice. That's no sacrificing outlet. Yeah. Okay, you managed it. Yeah. Okay, sure. Now, do they hit their sacrifice outlet? Third Birthing Ritual. If not, we would be so lucky. There's the Seer. Okay, now it's lethal. Rough. That land. This Gaze of Granite would have been so brutal. Anyway, on to the next game. Thinking about it again, I think I'll get rid of the Resentful Revelation, of one of the Resentful Revelation, and put the Wildest Dreams back in. Flexibility of getting back some of our bot webs might be important. So let's run it like this. Game number 3. We are on the play again. The last one still haunts me a little, because it was like 2 seconds ago. Fortunately, that's a 1-lander. If it wasn't, that would be great. Dreams and the Shadows Verdict, so let's mulligan. Another 1-lander. I think I'll keep this one. Let's put the Torment away. We do have removal and discard. And it's a Survey land. Hopefully find a second land. Yep. We're basically only looking for lands. We have Path of Peril also as a board wipe. Profane Tutor to find something later. Kind of wondering, if they don't cast anything right here, would I go for Dreams right now? They do cast something. It's the Goose. The Goose is loose. Let's just grab our Overgrown Tomb for now. We'll kill the Goose first and then use the Dreams, because that way we also get rid of the Goose in the grave. They are on a 1-lander again. If I get rid of the Wall of Roots, they are so low on mana. I think I go for that. Could also get rid of the Viserys here, because they probably only play 1. That way they can't combo us. Or get rid of the Gris, because it's the only real threat. Actually not the easiest decision. I think I get rid of the Gris, because the other things can be killed by the Path of Peril. And will also circumvent their Veil of Summers. And they do have 2 Veil of Summers, but what do I care if all I play is board wipes? Opponent doesn't play anything, they just keep up their Veil of Summer. And we find a Sylvan Scrying. Pretty sweet, but I think I just dispense the Profane Tutor for now. So that goes off earlier. Now they find a land. So they do have Wall of Roots and Veil of Summer. Yup. Draw land, that's sweet. I'll just grab a land I wanna play. Let's grab Pebble Coffers right here, run that out, and next turn we will grab Urborg off of the Tutor. We do have Dark Petition as another Tutor right here. Opponent finds another land, and 7 Safekeeper. Don't mind, don't care. Familiar, don't mind, don't care. Path of Peril will deal with all of this, even though you have Veil of Summer, opponent. Cast the Tutor and grab our Urborg. And we also find a discard spell. Fortunately, they do have 2 ways of getting rid of that, so won't really do too much. Let's just cast the Path of Peril. Not really sure if I want to give them the fodder for the Veil of Summers or just make them use the Veils to just draw a card with a path, yeah. I think stuff like this probably is also better for us. They use the first Veil just as a cantrip. Do they also use the second as a cantrip? Do they actually think that protects them? That would be so hilarious. I actually like them to cast the second one. They don't. So they will be able to counter our dreams next turn still. Being able to answer this token actually is kind of dangerous because it means they might be able to combo off next turn. That would suck. If that's a sum on top, it's the Yawgmoth. Okay, don't care. Because now Shadow's Verdict will ruin your life. Second Cauldron Familiar, I don't care. Run out the Marshblades, run out the Dark Petition, and grab the Shadow's Verdict. Oh, take the map. Yeah. Get rid of all your stuff, exile your graveyard, and you have only one with Sorceries and a Veil of Summer in hand. So being able to get rid of the Cauldron Familiars for good right here is really important. Because that way they can't just combo us out of their hand with just top decking some. Last turn if they had drawn some and the Seer, they did have the food token to just combo. Gilded Goose, that's fine. And a Birthing Ritual, that's annoying. That's annoying. You have a Resentful Revelation to dig deeper and we will be able to get rid of your Seer so you're not able to combo us. I find a Samwise. Or do I just grab something even more annoying? Yeah, let's just stay safe. Don't want to do something unnecessarily fancy. Just grab a Culling Ritual, get rid of those things, cast the Dreams, cast the Revelation, get rid of the Seer, get rid of the Samwise. Opponent is down to nothing, still have the Revelation, and we even find another Sylvan Scrying. Cute. Let's grab a second Coffers. Next turn, we'll be able to grab Umori, flashback the Resentful Revelations. This deck actually feels pretty good. Crazy. Opponent has a Voice of Victory, don't care. Just straight up. Is that lethal? 10, 12, yes. Yes, it is. Yes, it absolutely is. Nice. So, on to the last match. Last match of our Umori League. We lost another die roll. That's unfortunate. And we do have Ring of Steel and Oil and a Path of Peril. We don't have Green Hour for Sylvan Scrying. But I will still keep it. Because I do hope that Path of Peril will be good. Now, we're playing against Amulet. Okay. This will be tough, I think. This will probably be really tough. They don't even have anything we can discard with the Dreams. This will probably be really tough. It's probably one of our worst matchups, I'd assume. Don't have a lot going on there. I think that's one of the matchups where the Nightmare Incursions might be able to do something to get rid of all the things that actually do something on their side. Opponent is just comboing off, so we're in a lot of trouble already. Run out our Sylvan Scrying, grab Urborg, and hope our opponent doesn't find enough action and mana, which is unlikely to say the least, but maybe, just maybe. Opponent just combos off. I'll just cut this really short for you so you don't have to sit through it, but I still want to see. They do have the Green Sun Zenith here left. They also have the Summoner's Pact, so with all the Lucas Fields, they will probably have just combos completely. They don't have Delirium yet, so there is no way for them to go for the Afterthoughts loops for now. They just grab the Afterthoughts Analyst for a shit ton of mana though. Oh, that's also Delirium, and they can grab Titan with the last thing. Oh, we are just dead. Let's just cut it short, no need to sit through all of this. On the sideboard. Boarding against Amulet Titan with this will be a pain, I think. Let's just chuck some of these together in one pile. Path of Peril does nothing. Does nothing. Strategic Prey does almost nothing. Rings of Steel and Oil. We've seen we basically hit only really few of their cards, but Sorceries be removed against that. Doesn't really do anything. The rest gets rid of some of their counter stuff. I think I like it more than the Dreams. Sorceries, actually good discard spell. Nightmare Incursion, I think that's probably the matchup it's in for. And I also grab the Rain of Tears, because why not? Let's also grab the Crime Punishment. Damnation probably is just too slow. Let's grab Break the Ice to get rid of Wither Saga potentially, maybe. Get all of this out. Wildest Dreams. That would be our win condition. That's probably too bad. Yeah. I mean, let's try it like this. Hope our punishment will be able to kill amulets. Let's see if we can win this. Let's go first. Prevent our opponent, our Uzi boy. And we do have loads of discard spells and Culling Ritual to get rid of amulets. Let's keep this, see what we can discard. Hopefully a lot. I wonder if the creator of this deck also thinks that Amulet would be one of the worst matchups for this deck. Because when you are the one building a deck and also having in mind all of the interactions, unique things, all of the one-offs, especially in a deck like this, playing so many one-offs, you often have a different view on your deck, and you often have a clear plan in your head when boarding. And I don't. Like, I'm just vibe boarding right here, 100%. I think I just run out the Profane Tutor right here. Oh, let's see what our opponents got, because from what they had in their hand was too reliant on this other saga. They can still discard everything else this turn. And if you have a clear plan in hand, maybe he thinks that keeping all the discard spells, bring in some stuff. This matchup is actually great. You get to stop all they can do. Find the amulet. Oh, they have 2 amulet next turn. That's bad. Let's get rid of some of their cards. Awesome is land drop. That's unfortunate. They have a second Scapeshift. Come on, man. Come on. Can just Scapeshift next turn. They do have double amulet. I think we do have second amulet next turn, so they can also just cast Primeval Titan. I should have grabbed the Cultivator Colossus and I'll keep them with the Scapeshift. Maybe I discarded wrong. I should have just kept them with only the Scapeshifts in hand. Then they wouldn't not have really done anything too much. That was bad discards. I couldn't. The one was a duress. I couldn't. Okay. I couldn't. Now there will be a Scapeshift in our future. Let's see the landscape change. Opponent is just doing stuff. What do you hit with your Scapeshift? Because the Cultivator Colossus right now wouldn't actually be too dangerous. Grab a Lotus Field, single Lotus Field. I have to sacrifice that. The Cultivator Colossus will be able to put their lands into play, but it will die with the trigger on the stack. Yep. They only have 2 cards. Of course, they chain all the lands. What the fuck is going on? Hey, okay, good. Oh, the last 2 cards hopefully don't do too much. What the fuck is going on? Grab a Summoner's Pact, and they do have Mirror Pool already in play. Copy their Titan. What were those hits? What were those hits? Come on, opponent. Display the naked Cultivator Colossus. That dies immediately, and you still do me that dirty, opponent. Guess we're dead? I'll still sit right through this, pat my cat, and see how long it takes. You will probably just see the game lost screen right now, and see the afterthoughts afterwards. Yup. That just happened. Okay, what a fucking league. Now, this deck was way better than I expected it to be. Actually, all these discard spells slow down your opponent quite a bit. Path of Peril is really good right now. I did not think about it that way, but for example, Energy, we didn't play against Energy, but also Prowess. All the creatures just cost 2 or less mana. Yawgmoth, everything 2 mana except for Yawgmoth and Endurance. Risk doesn't count, that's not a creature on the battlefield. Everything 2 mana. Samwise, everything 2 mana except for the Sephiroth they ran. So this card actually is really nice to get back into the games. I've seen it in sideboards in the past, I've played it in sideboards in the past, but it almost never came up. Casting the card in this deck felt really nice. Civil Scrying plus Profane Tutor also is great consistency to hit our combo left lands. I don't really remember if we had any games where we missed it, except the one game against some where we did not get to cast our Culling Ritual because of that. Other than that, I think we've always had great mana and we're always able to use Koffer's Urborg. Actually really nice. Sideboard, what the fuck is this Break in the Ice and this Rain of Tears doing here? These two seem like they're just here as an alibi to say, yes, I do have sideboard cards against Eldrazi. There probably is some better way to fight those, but I don't know. The creator of this deck pretty much plays only this deck, so I guess that might be the best way to fight them, but that really sounds lackluster, only having these 2 that also sometimes don't hit the land. Not sure if that's the best way of handling it. Maybe you should just play for Rain of Tears. I mean, you can't play Consign, but Rain of Tears also is not really a good card. Maybe you just surrender that matchup. Amulet Titan failed. Terrible. Not having instant speed interaction and not good removal against the amulets. Horrible. But I guess it is what it is. The other matchups actually all felt pretty good. I am really scared of the Slick Shot show off, but we were able to just keep our opponent's hand empty so that the Slick Shot is not too scary. And this deck actually felt great. I'm also not sure what the Nightmare Incursion realistically does. Like those 3 cards are kind of wonky for me. I guess the Duress and Sorceries are really necessary against Storm to have a chance, or against stuff like Belcher. So I think having 8 additional discard spells against those decks probably is useful, especially because Blood Chief says there's nothing there, or the board wipes don't do anything there. And those actually seem pretty reasonable. These 3 cards, I don't quite know. Nightmare Incursion also seems really expensive to realistically deal with any of those things. Anyway, hope you enjoyed it. Give this deck a shot. Maybe one of you guys manages to trophy with it. I would love to see this deck trophy. And have a good one. See you in the next video.